His eyes glowed like embers in a dead hearth, and when he smiled, I prayed the glass would hold. No door closed by human hands could keep out what was hunting me that night. Nightbound Bloodline presents One Night of Horror with the Ultimate Werewolf Prince. This story was sent by someone who insists on remaining anonymous. A survivor of a night so terrifying its details could drive the bravest soul from civilization itself. He claims to have faced the ruler of all werewolves, a prince who carries the blood moon's curse in every breath, every shadow he commands. What you're about to hear is not just a tale of transformation and terror, but of how dread and royalty walk hand in hand in the deepest woods. Call me Marcus. I'm 36, an urban paramedic by trade. I've patched up wounds, calmed panicked hearts in alleys and high-rises, and I never put stock in nightmares. Until the night I found myself beyond the boundaries of every map I'd ever trusted. I don't believe in monsters. I never did. But what happened in the Black Pine Forest changed me forever. I wasn't a believer. Not in curses, not in legends, and sure as hell not in werewolves. I figured the world was tough enough already. The real monsters were human, until I met something much older, much colder than any man. It started as a dare. A friend challenged me to camp alone at the heart of Black Pine during the first blood moon in 30 years, a foolish ritual among locals, meant to test courage. The old stories. I shrugged them off, packed my bag, and promised a selfie by sunrise. The forest was thicker than any city shadows. My flashlight caught flecks of mist, the air drenched in the smell of wet pine, copper, and old earth. Every sound sharpened, branches cracking, distant creatures shifting just out of sight. By midnight, rain fell in steady sheets, and the forest grew restless. Deep inside, beyond the reach of trails, I pitched my tent near an ancient stone, half buried and carved with markings that pulsed in the moon's red light. I sat inside my tent listening to the rain, warmth fading from my bones as the forest darkened further. All the stories, wolves that could stand like men, eyes that burned holes in midnight, felt distant, almost laughable, until the world outside fell silent. The usual sounds, frogs, wind, far-off owls, were gone. In their place was a hush so deep my breathing sounded like a crime. Then I caught the first sign, footsteps, slow and deliberate, circling just beyond the edge of my lantern's glow. Not animal steps, too measured, too patient. I tried to convince myself it was my friend playing tricks, or maybe a lost animal drawn by the food in my pack. But each time I shifted, the footsteps stopped. Every time I paused, I caught the scent, wet fur and blood, so strong it seemed to curl in the air like smoke. The unease grew sharper. Shadows moved where nothing should move. The stones around my tent seemed to pulse, drawing my attention to old, carved symbols. I remembered a warning. Don't look the prince in the eyes. Don't meet his gaze, not under the blood moon. I stepped out, flashlight in hand, pulse pounding in my throat. I scanned the forest, shapes bent and twisted by rain and red moonlight. And then I saw him. He stood half-hidden behind a tangle of thorn bush, 8 feet tall, broad as 2 men. His fur was black with streaks of silver, wet and gleaming like armor. Every muscle seemed carved from stone. The hands, more like clawed gauntlets, flexed with every idle breath. His head was unmistakable, a wolf's muzzle split by an impossible, cunning smile. Ears sharp, eyes burning amber red, not wild but absolutely aware. Clothes hung in tatters, a cloak soaked in rain and gore draped over his shoulders. When he moved, it wasn't animal or man, but some perfect, terrible balance of both. His eyes locked on mine, not a challenge, but a statement. I realized then, this was no rogue beast. This was royalty, the Werewolf Prince. He stepped closer, walking upright. The branches gave way as if bowing to him. I felt a pressure all through my chest, each heartbeat screaming for flight, each muscle frozen by an authority that felt older than the stones. He didn't snarl. He didn't rush. Instead, he raised one clawed hand and drew a long breath, tilting his head as if to study me. The rain smeared the blood across his fur, and every motion seemed careful, deliberate. "Why have you come here?" His voice echoed, lower than thunder, sharper than sorrow. Not just words, but command. I tried to answer, but every language I knew felt wrong, broken in this midnight court. He circled my camp slowly. Every move carried the weight of rule, the sense that the forest itself bent to his will. I realized, horribly, he wasn't angry. He was curious, testing me. He moved in close, so close I saw each detail, fangs glinting in the lantern light, a golden chain draped around his neck bearing a wolf's head sigil. I felt the sweat freeze along my skin, legs trembling as if pinned by centuries of dread. He crouched, lowering his massive frame, cold eyes never leaving mine. "This blood moon marks an ending," he whispered, "and a choice." I felt something reach for my thoughts, a pressure, an invitation. I tried to back away, but the prince's shadow filled the world. The rain fell harder, pounding the old stones. He drew a circle with his claw, enclosing me in old power. "You came seeking fear. Now you will carry it back." My mind warped beneath that gaze. I screamed, whether in terror or defiance, I can't remember. The prince just watched, eyes mirroring storms and old, unspoken grief. He leaned in, nose inches from my own, every sense overwhelmed by animal heat and the perfume of ancient blood. I felt his breath, a cold rush over my skin, every instinct begging me to run. He spoke again, voice threading inside my skull. "Run, mortal. Carry our story. Hide if you must. This moon will find you." He stood and stepped back, fading into the dripping thorns without haste. No chase, no violence, just a promise. The woods roared after him, every shadow alive, every stone whispering his name. I stumbled, then ran, crashing through brambles and mud, lanterns swinging wild, heart beating out the rhythm of my own fear. The forest behind me thundered with the prince's passing, every step a shockwave. But he let me go. At my car, soaked and trembling, I collapsed. I howled, not with victory, but the echo of something ancient chained inside me now. For weeks, every dream was fire and claws, moon and royalty. The prince's words tattooed to my memory, the authority of the blood moon never letting me rest. I never camped alone again. I never denied the stories again. Now, when I hear a wolf's cry cutting through the city night, I remember that night. The night I met the ruler of the darkness. And I know, somewhere, the prince listens and waits. I was marked. I was allowed to live, but never to forget. Marcus's tale is not a legend for children. It is a warning. Do not seek what the moon hides, and never meet a prince who walks beneath blood-red skies. The boundaries between our world and theirs remain thin under ancient moons. The ultimate horror comes not from tooth or claw, but from the certainty that something rules the dark. Fear is as old as royalty, and some crowns are forged not of gold, but of dread. If you dare to wander old places on nights when the moon runs red, remember this. You might outrun a beast, but never a prince with power born in blood. Share your encounters with the unexplained. Like, subscribe, and join us next time for more true accounts from the shadows. Nightbound Bloodline lives because of you, our listeners, our witnesses. Thank you for listening. Until next time, sleep with one eye open.